Over 25,000 elephants and 1,200 rhinos are killed every year in Africa, raising alarm over the extent of illegal ivory trade across the continent. Kenya has been on the forefront of conservation efforts by employing various measures to stop this trade. Here is more.
Elephant and rhino poaching is a menace the world over, leading conservationists to predict extinction of the species by 2034. In Kenya, elephant and rhino populations have declined significantly over the years, testament to a thriving business in illegal ivory.
In 2014, 164 elephants were poached in the country, which significantly reduced to 96 in 2015. In 2014, 35 rhinos were illegally killed, compared to 11 in 2015. Another key milestone we have achieved in our conservation efforts is carrying out in 2015 a national audit of our stockpile of the elephant and ivory and rhino horn for enhanced monitoring and management, at which we recorded 135.8 tons of elephant ivory and 1.5 tons of rhino horn.
Connected to poaching is illegal wildlife trade and trafficking, okay? So poaching, yes, it denies us the product that Kenya depends on for tourism. Illegal wildlife trade does even greater damage to Kenya. If you look at the last 2-3 years, we know that 80% of all ivory that has been seized globally has come from two places, Mombasa and Dar es Salaam. That does affect, the credibility of these sports, to move trade in a very transparent manner.
Across Africa, the number of ivory seizures exceeding those made in Asia, and about 80% of illegal ivory trade in the continent is facilitated through East Africa. However, the Kenyan government has from time to time touched tons of ivory as a statement that the product has no direct economic value.
Our philosophy in Kenya is to put ivory and rhino horn to beyond economic use. Historically, there has been examples and attempts where in the 90s, despite Kenya's insistence that this not be done, internationally, especially the Southern African countries, sold their ivory and put the money towards conservation. What this actually led to was a growth in appetite for consumption of ivory and rhino horn.
By banning this ivory, Kenya is showing global leadership in putting ivory out of economic use. There's a lot of discussion about moratorium on trade, putting ivory out of economic use, banning, but nobody's going forward and doing it. So by Kenya coming forward and doing it, becoming the first country to ban all its stockpiles, Kenya is demonstrating that it is a serious conservation country.
Over the last 3 decades, Kenya has burnt over 40 tons of ivory, and 100 more tons will be set ablaze in a month's time. However, the question is whether burning ivory will eventually end this trade that still abounds.
Kenya remains committed to ensuring that elephants and rhinos are accorded the highest level of protection. Although the destruction of ivory and rhino horn will not in itself put an end to the illegal trade in these items, it demonstrates Kenya's commitment to seeking a total global ban in the trade of ivory and rhino horn.
Poaching and illegal ivory trade has been highlighted as a major setback to the growth of tourism. A report by the Africa Wildlife Foundation notes that a single elephant generates up to $85,000 in tourism revenue every year.
Although the uses for elephants are narrowed in Kenya because of the legislation, 85,000 per elephant is not a bad figure. And so if you take that 100 elephants are killed, right there you have lost what? $8.5 million worth of tourism revenue from poaching.
Poaching is facilitated by international criminal syndicates and fuels corruption. It undermines the rule of law and security, and in some cases provides funding for other criminal activities. This not only harms the sustainable economic development of our local communities, but also national economies.
But with the entry of a new Conservation Act in 2014, the country has recorded tremendous progress. More than 4,000 ivory traffickers have been arrested over the last 3 years.
Now, if you're caught poaching endangered species, you will be fined 20 million Kenya shillings. At today's exchange rate, that's what, $200,000. Or you could be given life imprisonment. How punitive does it get? I think Kenya has demonstrated that we're not playing around. If we catch you, we put you forever. Now, then there's the next section, I think it's either section 94, 95, that talks about if you are caught in possession of a trophy of an endangered animal. There, they fine 1 million straight up.